So Steam dropped another Nextfest onto my unaware ass, so once again I wanted to sample all the fine demos that caught my eye. I'm liking this as a bit of a ritual now, since it shows me all sorts of cool new indie games, and some major titles too. So here's another batch of demos I played during the second Nextfest. Simulator-type games seem to be pretty popular these days, and it was only a matter of time before one actually appealed to me. Fast Food Simulator is a sim game where you basically run a McDonald's. You buy the needed supplies to cook and wrap burgers to sell to various customers that come in droves throughout the day. You name your shop, make money, buy upgrades and more ingredients for your restaurant, and that's about it. It's a pretty fun little game, I won't lie, but I do have some notes. The game definitely needs a temperature gauge, since if I ever delivered a burger that had been out a little bit too long, it was automatically a bad order, but I had no idea how long that was exactly, or even if it was that. Maybe I just didn't get to the customer in time. Also, I hope if they do add that gauge, they add heat lamps as an upgrade too, so you can ignore it totally. This one, you definitely want friends to play with too. I played this one by myself, and I won't lie, it was very difficult handling everything all by my lonesome. Or perhaps I hold myself to too high a standard when it comes to performance in these types of games. I like to always get it right. Anyway, pretty fun. We'll make some friends sometime and give it another shot. I saw an article for this game a while back before the Nextfest, and it was described as an action game in the vein of God Hand, so I had to check it out when I saw it. Spirit Cross Strike, Spirit X Strike, Spirit Strike is a 3D beat-em-up set in a world that has suffered some sort of apocalyptic event. It reminds me very much of Fist of the North Star, though your character is a cocky youngling instead of a stoic warrior. In the demo, you come across a settlement under siege by the Tiger Army, so you head out to bust some heads and protect the innocent villagers within. Spirit Strike gives you a punch and a kick button for combat, which can be pressed in all manner of ways, which gives you a bunch of different attacks and combinations to utilize in combat, which of course you use to pull off the sickest combos on your enemies. You also build your spirit meter, which can be burned on a super mode that vastly boosts the amount of damage you do per strike. If you whoop an enemy's ass hard enough, they get stunned, which lets you hit them with a super strike, which is a big damage grab. It's just great to hit. You can also strike from the air to initiate combat pretty easily. Defensively, you can block enemy attacks, dash to avoid them, or simply just jumping lets you evade the deadly red attack enemies use. Interestingly, if you dash as an enemy projectile is about to hit you, you instantly lunge to the person that fired on you. This perfect parry type mechanic also exists on your block as well for melee enemies. The combat in this one is super fast paced and requires your head to be on a swivel at all times if you don't want to die. It's pretty brutal difficulty wise, much like God Hand. Though I'll say as much as the devs as it draws inspiration from that particular game, combat wise I definitely felt I was playing something like Devil May Cry instead, which is still good, of course. This one was fun in spite of me getting my ass beat almost constantly. Definitely something I'm looking forward to down the road come full release. We Could Be Heroes is a side-scrolling beat-em-up game. Obviously something that catches my eye, but just look at it. We Could Be Heroes is an ugly game. It's quite simple as well, only having a punch, kick, and a jump button control-wise. No block, no defense or desperation move, or any defense at all, really. There's no supers either. It also pretty flagrantly steals all of its sound effects from Street Fighter 2. What you do have is a variety of attacks at your disposal, though. Combos, back attacks, and a bunch of different throws to take advantage of as well against the punks of this city. I had some gorilla press throws, regular tosses, and a pedigree too. This game, though, is incredibly jank. Enemies can get right into you and can easily wail on you, and you kind of just have to take it because there's no real easy way to deal with that. There also doesn't seem to be any food or healing items, but this is just a short demo. That's not really needed, but still noteworthy. I won't lie, though, even with all the jank and nonsense, I had a lot of fun playing this one. I think it's mostly because of the interactivity of the world. You can just huck people through windows and cars and all sorts of stuff. I also like that I have to hit the crosswalk button here, otherwise cars run me over. Can't lie, I'll probably end up buying this one in spite of all the jank. I actually had a lot of fun. Creatures of War is a 2D survival horror game that puts you in the boots of Mike on a mission to the mysterious and deadly Coverist Island. Why is he there? The president's kid and some of his dumbass friends landed on the island, found some fucked up staff that clearly got slaughtered by something, and then subsequently got lost in the island. The Black Ops team was sent to retrieve the wayward teenagers, but now they're lost too, so it's up to the one-man army Mike to find out what the hell happened and rescue any survivors that might still be out there. You hit the island armed only with the big iron on your hip. As you press into the island, you run across all sorts of monsters, like velociraptors and giant spiders too, alongside some bigger predators. Creatures of War has some very Flash game vibes to it. I do not say that as a negative for reference, it's just as I was playing it, I felt like I was back on Newgrounds.com or something, playing some sick Flash game. The combat in this game works just fine, being like a 2D Resident Evil 4 with the laser-assisted aiming. I'm a big fan of the fact that there's just a merchant chilling on the island's tram system, which also serves as your save room and the game's fast travel option too. He also sold me a C9 Mauser, so he's definitely good in my book for sure. Also, love the fact that to heal, your guy Mike just slugs some water. This guy's hard as fuck, gets ravaged by some raptors and just chugs some Dasani and keeps going. I'll also give the game credit in that it's a fully voice-acted affair by some very dedicated-sounding amateurs.
Motor looks damaged, but I found some spare bullets they left behind. 9mm. They fit perfectly into the gun I already have. Over.
Well, aren't you lucky? Maybe some of that luck can rub off on Delta Squad.
I like this one a lot. I'll definitely try it come out full release, since it had some pretty good jump scares in there too. I have zero idea who got the TMNT license and said, "Hey guys, let's make a TMNT Hades," but God bless them. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate is an action roguelike that casts you as either Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, or Raphael after Master Splinter gets snatched up by the Foot Clan. Each turtle has a different starting perk, special attacks, and share the same general moveset with a huge dash for some good mobility. As you battle the Foot, as well as Baxter Stockman's robots, you'll be able to acquire more perks for your various attacks, or the dash itself even. This game features fantastic voice acting for everyone involved, and what might be a first I've ever seen in any video game, the text moves 100% perfectly in sync with the audio.
Whoa! What is this?
I forgot to tell you guys. I ran into this just before Shredder and his goons ambushed me.
Looks totally powerful, dudes!
It made me stronger, but only for a short time. The power faded when that portal thing returned me to the lair.
Huh, curious. I should call Metalhead and have him run some tests.
No time, nerdling. Take it and let's go get Sensei.
Your journey will also allow you to purchase static upgrades that transfer across all the turtles, smack up your favorite turtle, and fight the Foots, Baxter Stockman's robots, and some big badass bosses that are just waiting for you at the end of each area. Splintered Fate also features a bunch of side characters from TMNT lore, but best of all, you get April O'Neil as a juggy redhead again. Thank the fucking lord. Gotta be honest guys, the only negative thing I had to say about this game is that the text for abilities just doesn't fill the boxes properly. This is at best a minor annoyance. Otherwise, great fun. Look forward to playing it someday.
Shredder bought these mousers from Stockman. You better hope he kept the stinking receipt.
With karate, I'll kick your ass.
I'm a fan of Holokir, and old Kung Fu movies are pretty damn sick too, so seeing them combined looked super interesting. Karate Survivor has you battling Skaven-Tide levels of thugs in the local supermarket using only your sick martial arts moves. As you clobber thugs, they drop money, which levels you up on pickup, which lets you purchase new attacks, upgrade your existing attacks, or just buff up your stats. Attacks are color-coded, and you can actually really boost your attack's effectiveness by lining the same color attacks up on your combo bar, which this whole little bar is pretty cool since it lets you structure your big main combo with all these different attacks, however you want to do them. The map is also littered with weapons that you can just pick up and either huck at foes or use as a dedicated melee weapon until it breaks. You also collect teeth, which is the currency to buy permanent stat upgrades for your Karate Man. I loved it. This one honestly was really stellar. Good presentation, graphics, fun gameplay, and everything. Definitely looking forward to the full release. As a fan of turn-based tactics games and a casual fan of the Advanced Wars series, I had to give this one a shot. Warside is exactly what I just said, a huge Advanced Wars type game, but on your PC instead of whatever Nintendo console. You'll get some quick tutorial missions before going up against the Green Wastelanders and the Orange Great Desert Dwellers. On the mission maps, you'll have to claim barracks to train infantry and engineering base to train vehicles, as well as heliports to train any sort of air units. Cities will provide you with citizens to tax to fuel your war machine, so take those as well. Unfortunately, the enemy can do this too, so you'll have to send your infantry to take them back, all the while your vehicles can shell any of these dwellings into submissions for an easy retaking. This game does feature a pretty basic array of Advanced Wars type vehicles to use, like light and heavy tanks, transports, buggies, and your basic infantrymen of course, but it does feature a good bit of cool new units too. Snipers are basically anti-infantry artillery pieces that slaughter any infantry that's stupid enough to come into their range. You also have medics that can heal your infantry too. The blue faction that I played for the demo specialized in heavy armor units, which gave me access to the Rhino, which, while the Rhino didn't have any direct damage capabilities, they were instead killdozers that just shoved units around, which, if you pushed any unit into the water, it was an instant kill. Really fucking imba, especially since it can even eliminate a full stack unit while missing a majority of the Rhinos. Maybe this shouldn't impress me that much, but this game did feature one three-way battle in it, and in it, the two AI enemies actually went after each other a decent bit. I'm a pessimist, so I kind of thought I'd just get ganged up on. The generals in this game also all have unique themes, much like in Advanced Wars, and the music in general is just pretty good. Overall, I had a total blast with this one. Definitely looking forward to the full release when it drops. Cards, Guns, Zombies is a pretty basic first-person shooter that involves you dropping into a zombie-infested city, with your objective being to kill as many of the zombies as you can, while also rescuing as many civilians as possible too. Doing this earns you money, which you spend on cards and booster packs. These unlock new guns and skills, which you equip for better runs, of course. I assume this one is in pretty early beta, since it was honestly kind of barren. I got a ton of repeat cards. What I did get was fun. I mean, conjuring a truck to just smash into zombies was pretty fun. The guns felt fine to use. What was really frustrating though was the survivors. Unless these fucking idiots were directly threatened by the zombies, they were just taking a jaunty little fucking stroll to the helicopter. Don't know about you guys, but if rescue from getting eaten alive was within reach of me, I'd be fucking sprinting to that chopper like it was the last one out of Vietnam. That was almost just kinda in spite of my initial interest in it. It seems like one of those early access games that'll be abandoned after selling like 10 copies, or however many these fucking things do on launch. I kind of struggled to come up with how to describe this one, but I'll give it a shot. Secret Agent Wizard Boy and the International Crime Syndicate is a humorous, free-roaming puzzle game that takes place in a magical school, one that is distinct enough to not face copyright issues. You are the eponymous Wizard Boy, under contract by MI6 to take down the crime syndicate being run by Grumblewort at the Wizard School. The demo basically showed me this door with the 3 shaped keys and told me to figure it out from there, and oh boy, did I figure it out. You get a basic little magic spell to use, and the whole world is screw around in, basically. Save a super long description of all my antics, I will simply regale you with the tale of how I got the very last key. The last key was in possession of this girl right here. She has a set patrol path around the school, which I sussed out via following her like I was up to no good. Using my massive brain, I went and retrieved a landmine from the school's storage lockers, so I could place it in her path. Going forward with my diabolical plan, I accidentally chucked the fecking mine into potions class, killing everyone inside. The girl then sauntered into potions class not too long after this, but think Thinking quickly, I simply murdered her with my magic since there were no more witnesses to report me or assist her. After this, I grabbed the key and unlocked the door, the demo ending soon after. This game seemed to be pretty loose with how you could accomplish your goals, and I appreciate that. I also enjoy the simplicity of just tossing my stupid ass into a game and not holding my hand for it at all. I just had to figure shit out. I genuinely enjoyed faffing about in this game, even when it resulted in my deboning. I'm sure this game will blow up to meme levels, like every streamer will just randomly play this one because of how weird and stupid it is, but I genuinely loved it and I cannot wait for the full release. A first-person horror game set in a world that's been totally consumed by darkness, Butcher's Creek casts you as a degenerate no-name pervert on the hunt for some snuff films in a long-abandoned lumber mill. Unfortunately, while on your quest, you get bonked on the head by some evil lumberjacks, stripped naked, and put into a cage for eventual killing. You break out, however, and now it's a fight for your life as you try to escape the clutches of these evil woodsmen. Butcher's Creek, at least from what I played, is a totally melee-focused game. You pluck your weapons from the environment, all of them being tools of varying kinds, and each with different damage and speed stats, alongside durability too. Obviously, your enemies are pissed to see you walking around free, so they want to kill you, and you'll have to defend yourself. So you can just outright kill them, but your only defense mechanic is a parry, which will open enemies up for a free hit if you pull it off successfully. Your enemies will get kind of tricky with it though, delaying their strikes a bit to try to throw your timing off. It definitely takes a bit of getting used to, but it works fine, and well, if you don't want to die, you'll learn it real quick. Kicking objects into your enemies at maximum velocity is also a very valid way to kill them, though this can be a little bit janky at times. If you take damage though, fear not, you can heal yourself by snapping pics of violent crime scenes. You'll also be collecting the snuff tapes that you desire so much, which serve as kind of a currency, basically. You need them to open certain doors, and that's how you save your game as well. Putting you at a slight disadvantage though is you being naked, which means you cannot walk over stuff like broken glass. You'll start to take damage if you do. Regardless though, after a bit of combat training, I felt like I was the real psychopath monster here. I mean, just think about it for a second. I'm a totally naked man, hanging dong. I am covered in blood and I'm caving dudes' heads in with a sledgehammer. They should be running from me, not the other way around. What I really want to take a sec to compliment this one on though is the sound design. It is super visceral and incredibly immersive. Very much looking forward to the full release of this one.
Fuck you! Fuck! Motherfucker!
A retro-styled game inspired by handheld classics, Letalis casts you as the head of a gladiator school on your way to conquer the various arenas of the world's Kaisars. So, put together some gladiators and go do that. The one thing I hated off the bat with this one is that you get forced into an unwinnable battle right at the start with your team getting slaughtered. I fucking hate this sort of thing, and it's something every game dev should stop doing, period. Just have my ass get whooped in a cutscene. I don't want to think I can win. Otherwise, I have very nice things to say. Letalis has very pleasant music, first and foremost. I also think the retro art style is very lovingly crafted and a nice throwback to OG Game Boy games. Combat is a simple turn-based affair that works pretty well, though I think the system where your attacks take a massive hit to their damage base if you use it multiple times in a row is a bit much, especially when some of your early gladiators only have 2 moves to use, attack and block mostly. Your gear also pops up on your gladiators, which is a cool feature. Yeah, I know, this has been an industry standard thing since like the SNES, but I very much appreciate it. This one was alright. I might pick it up someday. Broken Alliance is a turn-based hum-like set in a fantastic world teeming with all manner of people, monsters, technological prowess, and just all sorts of crazy shit, to be honest. I'll try to explain a little bit. In the campaign I played, I was tasked with bringing the leaders of the 4 nations to a gathering in the hopes of diffusing the rising tensions that have been growing between them all. You navigate a bigger map, making your way to the first major city in Anchorage. This game is fully voice-acted, and I quite liked the bookish dialogue read by a very pleasant-sounding narrator.
The factions quarrel, threatening reprisal over any transgression, insult, grievance. They threaten each other with war. They threaten the future of Ale itself.
Character voices are pretty good too. Hedgehog. Your second companion is a humanoid hedgehog knight. Fuck yeah. Your first companion is actually a mute Psychro who shoots a laser gun. I'm all here for the more unconventional designs. Hell, the leader of the second area you go to is an unspeakable abomination named Murmur of Madness, the Choir. Hell, the final area, a future tech civilization, is led by Meridian the Machinist. I love the blend of high fantasy, future tech, and eldritch stuff that this game presents. It's like Heroescape to me. It's just kinda awesome. Combat-wise, since I'm sure you're curious, it's basically Heroes of Might and Magic 3, but with the twist of having a deck system where you draw basic move and attack cards, alongside some buffing abilities. Each character gets 2 moves a turn, so you can move twice, attack twice, or do any mixture of anything. Picking up certain artifacts on the map also modifies the cards that you can draw from your deck too, so it seems like they put a good amount of thought into the system. Even if I'm not a terribly big fan of the whole card deck stuff, it works pretty well here. The attacks are well animated and accompanied by good sound effects too. You also harvest resources on the overworld map to do objectives as well, which I assume that's something that's a bit more important in the multiplayer side of this game, but I'm not gonna play that probably. I won't lie, this one was pretty cool. Looking forward to that full release. Those Who Rule is a tactical turn-based RPG that puts you in control of a group of young soldiers caught in the middle of a vast conspiracy that leads to a large-scale conflict. The combat in this game is what I want to talk about most. Turn-based affair, as mentioned, it playing out on a hex grid, with characters having various classes that range from heavy shielded guardians, high damage axemen, to archers and healers too. You click, you attack. Pretty simple. But this game features what I can only call the rules of engagement. I don't even know if that's how to properly term this, but it's honestly a bit weird. The grid space you occupy gives you all the directions that you can face on the battlefield. When you end your turn, you choose which direction you face, and you do not change it until next turn. This is important to note because you get damage advantages if you strike foes from the flank or from behind, as well as being able to block more efficiently with a given character's shield arm. That makes sense, but what I don't understand is why your characters don't even face the first opponent that engages them. Gladius has a similar combat advantage system in terms of damage, but your character will face the first target that attacks them. It's weird your characters just kind of stand there and get clobbered from behind when they only have one attacker that they can focus on. You know, the person doing the clobbering. It's weird to me. At least when you attack a target, you and said target should fully engage with each other, always facing that one specific enemy until they die, disengage, or you disengage. With this system though, I do like that a good shield can block a shit ton of damage, which that's something that would conflict with how I think it should be, like I said, so I don't know, don't listen to me. Another thing I want to take a moment to harp on is one piece of dialogue. A woman refers to her child as my love. Maybe I'm overreacting a bit. My understanding of English is the phrase my love should refer to someone that you're intimate with, not a child. Maybe she's a diddler though, I don't know. But please change that to something else. I will compliment the game's music though, as I find it fantastic. I also find the 2D art pretty solid, but the 3D models have a weird zomboid quality to them that it puts me off. The gameplay, in spite of my earlier autistic bitching, is totally fine too. It works. Story also apparently features choices which will alter the events of the game. Very cool. I hope they actually matter, unlike a Telltale game. I'll probably end up checking this one out at a point, but I'm not jumping to do so. It's decent though. Bloodshed is a wave-based shooter wherein you kill enemies, level up, get new weapons, skills, and upgrades for your attacks, all the while the waves of enemies get increasingly difficult. It's very much like a first-person shooter Vampire Survivor. It has a nice, really retro-y look to its graphics, it controls really well, and it's pretty fun to just blast monsters with a shotgun. I honestly don't even have much to say about this one, it's just pretty good. If you're looking for an FPS Vampire Survivor, check it out. I'll probably give it another shot with full release for sure. Street Ball Fury is a silly sports game where you, playing as Morty, alongside your nerd best friends here, are entered into an intergalactic basketball tournament wherein the victor will be granted a wish or something. We play by street ball rules in this one, so it really only kind of resembles real basketball. Ball goes in hoop, you get points. That's pretty much where the similarities end. You don't reset after scoring, so you can just keep dunking and dunking for more points if you can. There's also basically no rules here, so you're encouraged to fucking clobber the enemy team as much as you can. Honestly, one of the better strategies is just being your team's linebacker, leveling enemy players as much as possible while your AI companion scores. As you stay on your feet on the court, you slowly build up a meter, which will let you pull off your cool dunk, which is a totally unstoppable dunk that scores instantly and nets you 3 points. Normal dunks and thrown shots only get you 1 point for reference, so this is a big deal. Getting this super dunk, though, is actually pretty difficult since you have to avoid getting knocked down. Not easy when violence is the spirit of the sport here. You're gonna need all your fancy tricks, too, since the AI is not only great at brawling, they are 100% flawless when it comes to taking shots at range, and will get dunks at a machine gun pace if you're not careful. The AI is kinda horse shit, I won't lie. The game also had some minor grammatical issues here and there, but it's nothing too major. That's just something I always notice because of my severe writing autism. This one's pretty fun, though, in spite of the difficulty, and I look forward to beating it someday. Slipgate is a first-person shooter that basically apes most of the plot of Doom 3 with some minor changes here and there. Eggheads have opened up a portal to hell, causing demons to surge through and start slaughtering all the people in this science facility. Even worse, the damn demons have possessed your wife and are just still running rampant. Thankfully, though, you've been imbued with strange power from an alien artifact, and, well, you were just a badass to begin with, so you pick up your pistol and you start blasting. Audio-wise, I noticed a couple things right off the bat. This sound is lifted right from the original StarCraft. This is almost assuredly a Russian-made game too, due to the voice acting. I appreciate the effort though, I won't lie.
This place is going to fucking hell. That eggheads! They've opened a portal to another world, and something crawled out of it. Even worse, demons has taken possession of my wife.
The regular music playing kind of rocks hard though, I won't lie. I'm glad Doom 2016 has made metal a viable genre of music for shooters like this. Outside the music, this is just, okay. It was pretty buggy, it had some slowdown issues that I kept running into, but the gameplay was functional. It was fun enough to just shoot dudes and demons though, especially since they gibbed into little meat chunks typically. That's always fun. I certainly won't be running to play this one though, that's for sure.
A combat shotgun, best tool for close context, 1993.
Access.
Minroom page.
I knew this one was going to be good because it immediately hit me with the "some parts of this game might be considered violent or cruel" screen. This sort of message means good shit is coming, always. Right at the start, you're allowed to select between which Resident Evil control scheme you prefer, classic or modern. I'm a big fan of this one out of the gate, even more so due to the big, chonky computer in the intro, on top of our heroine here having gotten her information from old message boards and chat rooms. Really fun old internet stuff. Man, I miss those days. But basically, story goes that there's an old house beyond the power plant in the mountains that lets you head to the other side and contact those you've lost over the years. Our MC is very interested in this, but the problem with this legend is that no one's ever actually returned from this place, so who's to know if it's true? This, however, does not discourage her, so she sends off a letter to her friend and heads for the house in the mountains. You run down a highway bordered by misty purple clouds before heading through a bizarre-looking house that portals you back into your old neighborhood where your grandparents used to live. You begin a prompt exploration of this familiar area, though things are far more surreal than you remember, of course. The streets are patrolled by sentient static figures that will attack you on sight. Definitely not like the old days at all. Thankfully though, your trusty camera dispatches them quite handily. Your camera is your weapon in this game. Point and snap, which maims the static people. You can also find attachments for your camera. I actually ended up getting one that gave me burst fire, which used more ammo, duh, but it killed static figures almost instantly. The world you explore is also just so bizarre and surreal, and that's the best part to me, honestly. Rooms filled with snow, a whole house drowning in knee-deep water, and there's just this kind of general malaise that hangs over the whole town. I did some some puzzle solving, read some documents, went through a lot of Resident Evil doors, and then I found my way to a funeral home where I got into a casket, which whisked me away to a boss fight against a giant spider. Typically, I don't approach giant spiders without the EDF behind me, but regardless, I managed to kill this abomination with just my camera. This one was utterly fascinating to me, I won't lie. Definitely looking forward to the full release when it drops. Fragile Reflection is another survival horror game, and one that, I don't know, it just didn't do it for me for some reason. Which is odd, because it has all the things I like. Good retro art style, weird surreal enemies to fight, and it even offered two entirely different mission types, one that focused on puzzles and the other that focused on combat. It all seemed so cool, but it just didn't click. It might be because it takes 3 hours to turn around this game, and there's no way to do an instant 180 to counter that. At least I couldn't find one. There was a button prompt that I think meant this, but it just didn't work for me. Maybe you'll enjoy this one, viewers, but I certainly did not. This one actually got taken off of Steam not too long after I finished writing this video. I did some investigating, and the only real reason I could find that Steam popped it because the femboy looked underage. The itch page disputes this, as does the game itself too. I mean, can an underage person even sign a lease agreement? I don't think so. I've also read some claims that this game's usage of AI artwork is possibly what got it kicked off Steam, but last I checked, Steam was okay with you using AI generated assets as long as you disclose as such in your game's description, which this game did. So if you want to play this one now, you're just gonna have to go to the itch.io page and grab it. Anyway, My Femboy Roommate is an erotic visual novel that delivers you every modern man's fantasy. You quit your shitty 9-to-5 job to pursue your dream of becoming an indie game developer, but wanting to be cautious about money, you opt to take in a roommate to help handle the apartment costs. A roommate who turns out to be a cute little femboy, of course. Robin here is a live streamer who at first is very quiet, reserved, and a bit drawn off from you. It's up to you to befriend and later on bed your new roommate. You'll chat him up, make him food, watch movies with him, porn included, because I guess you just do that in your living room with a stranger that just moved in. You also bond over your mutual love of the anime Bussy Ball Z, god damn it. Which actually, this spurs him to show you a cosplay he's done of one of the characters. You can actually just make him wear this outfit by default too, if you don't prefer the normal clothing he wears. I'll give this game a nice compliment in that the pacing between normal and erotic scenes is actually pretty good. You're never waiting too long for the next adult scene. This one also had a decent bit of voice acting for Robin. It's pretty good, and can't lie, whoever did it did a good job. It's a pretty solid little visual novel, what I played at least. And check it out if you're in the mood to blast some Bussy, aren't we all?
Oh, I love Bussy Ball.
And that's about it for my latest Nextfest. Once again, I had a great time sampling a bunch of random games. It's like going to a Costco and eating all the free shit. As with my last video on this topic, I hope that you as a viewer found something cool to check out. Well, that's where this video ends. As always, dearest viewers, my name is HadesManticore, and this here channel is CityStateManticore. Thanks a ton for watching if you did. If you found some cool demo or game during the Nextfest, feel free to share it below. Be sure to subscribe too, because as always, there's more content to come. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.